Hey,
why do you panic?
The way you, Papa, you know Papa.
Figuratively, he bites as hard as he can.
Okay.
And of course, when he puts his fangs into you, you certainly feel it. I think it pretty
Watch Johnny's bite.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? And yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Thou anoint my head with oil, my cup runneth over, and surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. And I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever and ever. Amen. Assalamu alaikum. It's Friday. Welcome to Johnny's Bite. Juma Mubarak to all our Muslim brothers and sisters. Aktabil. 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 Now, I want to say a big thank you to all who spent time to visit the homes of the victims of the, whether tragedy or calamity or disaster, whichever you want to call it. But a 3-day mourning, national mourning, has been declared, and we are all following through with it. But those who spent time to visit the homes of my good brother and friend, Comrade Mutala, Dr. Mani Buama, Alhaji Muniru, and all the others, Squadron Leader Nala, and Sergeant Ado, and Ado Mensa, and everybody. I want to spend time to thank you very much indeed for being there for the families who have been hit so hard. Those of us who are not direct family members have been even hard hit. So they will need people around them. They will need people to remind them constantly to take a sip of water. They would need to get people around them to comfort them and to remind them that all will be well. They will need people around them to be praying with them. They will need people around them to be whispering words of hope into their ears. They will need people around them to assure them that all will be well, and that from God we came and we shall return to God. And by all means, God shall grant them safe passage into heaven, forgetting their transgressions. And once we do that, nationally, we are psyching ourselves all together, one-on-one, to make sure that we heal from this situation quickly, because this certainly is a very tough one. And I want to also thank His Excellency the President for braving the storm. And I mentioned yesterday that I'm not too sure what the President will be going through at this point, because two of his key appointees, and as Commander-in-Chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, you have two of his 7 officers and party officers of the party he belonged to, and party officials, you know, and other rank have been affected. So for him to step out yesterday as bold as he could, even though we could see that here's a man who has been hit, and he wept publicly. Want to extend our condolences to him and the rest of his team for standing up yesterday and deciding to lead us all to say, bring some flowers out so that the families know that they have not been left alone in the time of grief. It is very important. So thank you, Mr. President. But most importantly, thank you for addressing the nation. Thank you for telling us not to point accusing fingers. Thank you for reminding us that we have one Ghana and not political parties. Thank you for reassuring us that it will be well. Thank you for letting us know that thorough investigations will be done. Thank you for letting us know that the black box and the cockpit recorders have been found so that we know we're getting somewhere. Thank you very much for that address yesterday. And I'm sure that many people who hitherto couldn't sleep suddenly may have found some sleep. I want you to pay a quick attention to what the president said. Reflect on it briefly. Reflect on it. 6, but put the picture up, the picture of the 8 with the floral laying ceremony. And I want to encourage you, it will be there today. It was there yesterday. You have some flowers. Go out there, say a prayer, and lay a flower in memory of the departed, and also be part of the larger society that is, if you will, mourning those who served their country with all the energy and with all the love and duty in their hearts. While we talk about this, I just want to quickly announce for our information, and one of the women I also very much admire, whose strength I admire so much, is the Honorable Abla Jifa Gomashi, Minister for Tourism, Arts and Culture. And yesterday she was out there at the home of her comrades who had fallen, even though she had the funeral coming up tomorrow. Tomorrow she lays her father to rest. Tomorrow, the Honorable Abla Jifa Gomashi, together with the siblings, Yawa Gomashi, and all the other siblings and their allied families, the entire family, they lay Grandpa Doche Gomashi to rest at Medina, and our hearts go out to them as well as they prepare to lay Grandpa to rest. And one of the things that she said that struck me, that has stuck with me, was that Grandpa Gomashi was old, so it's okay, even though it's painful, it's okay that he's lived full. But for her colleagues who are young and budding, and they had a lot of things on their plate to clear before they had to leave this earthly plane, it's quite painful. But she stood strong, and she came by the homes of her colleagues. So we salute her and her family as well, and we wish them well. Our hearts go out to them. Tomorrow there will be a vigil. It will be at the State House, the forecourt of the State House. There will be a national vigil at the forecourt of the State House, and we encourage all of us to be there, clad in our funeral clothing. And somebody asked the question yesterday when pictures of the wife of the Honorable or Comrade Murtala Mohammed, his wife was wearing white. I know her to be a very bubbly lady, but yesterday you could clearly see how broken she was. And somebody asked the question why she was clad in white. So I inquired, and I was told that for the Islamic religion, color does not, funerals are not connoted by color. Okay, so that white she was wearing there was not because she wanted to celebrate. She was equally mourning. If you know her and you met her, you would have known that Ajia was truly and really, really, really broken. So our hearts go out to all the families out there. And I will plead with all of us to take it easy on ourselves. The guys say, Mokogbo ni Mokwagbo, to wait somebody doesn't die so that another will die. So while you mourn, you also take it easy on yourself and cool your hearts and cool down. All will be well. Now, I find it strange. That, no, before I go there, you play a bit of the president's address yesterday.
These gallant men each served Ghana with distinction. And as we mourn, questions about the cause of this tragedy are only natural and important. And I want to assure the families and the nation that the Ghana Armed Forces has initiated a full and transparent investigation into the circumstances of this crash. An investigative board of inquiry has been set up to investigate the cause of the crash. The flight data and cockpit voice recorders have both been retrieved. All 8 of the bodies of our departed comrades have been retrieved, and the government is in close touch with the bereaved families about identification of the bodies and final interment. In this moment of national grief, let us remember that we are above all Ghanaians, united not just by our nationality, but by our shared hope, our shared humanity, and now our shared sorrow. Let us set aside our differences and offer our collective compassion to the bereaved families. This is not a time for division, speculation, or political point scoring. It is a time for strength, for empathy, and for the enduring Ghanaian spirit that still stands tall when all else has failed. Let our words be of comfort, our actions be of kindness, and our unity be the tribute we offer to those whose lives have been lost. To the families, to the Ghana Armed Forces, to the ministries and departments that have lost dedicated staff, and to the National Democratic Congress, which mourns the passing of valued members, may you find strength in their memory and their legacy. May we all be comforted by the knowledge that though they are gone from our sight, they remain forever in the spirit of the nation they so faithfully served.
That's the President of the Republic, John Dramani Mahama. And yesterday you could see that he's manned up to the occasion. If you watched him in the afternoon, it's a different ballgame altogether. As I wrap up on this subject matter, I am with pain in my heart that two individuals who wanted us to vote for them to become presidents of this republic. I'm talking about Mr. Kofi Apkaloo and Mr. Bernard Mornah, have been making very disparaging comments about the departed. Somebody sent me a video of Mr. Kofi Apkaloo suggesting that the accident happened on a cocoa farm, and it signifies that the government was joking with cocoa farmers, and so that is the punishment for doing that. With all the gray hair, that connotes that it has to come with a lot of wisdom. No, I'm just saying that in Africa, when you have gray hair, it's supposed to connote wisdom. More so when you want to become president of the republic. You ought to go on X and go and check how the young people you expect to vote for you are coming at you. People have died. Their families are wailing. They are counting their losses. The children that have been left behind and the widows that have been left behind are thinking about themselves and asking themselves, how do we go forward from here? The families are asking themselves, how did we lose this important son of ours at this time? And the best comment you could make was that it serves them right. They joked with the farmers, so they ought to die on a cocoa farm. I'm paraphrasing. It doesn't make any sense. And it must be said the way it has to be said. If you're an elder in society and you want to lead the larger country, you don't say things like this. More so in public and on television, when you know that the internet never forgets. So having said that, will you be bold enough again to come and stand in front of the children of the departed when they turn 18 and ask them to give you their thumb? How conscionable would that be to you? I think you should be bowing down your head in shame. Maybe it was a slip of tongue, or maybe you were carried away. But you should come out and apologize for that. It was in very, very bad taste. And then my good friend Bernard Mornah, who is a chief like me, also made some very disparaging comments about the pilot, a squadron leader. Maybe my good friend doesn't know who or what a squadron leader is. A squadron leader is equivalent to the rank of a major. So maybe he's familiar with the rank of a major. But if you join the military, he joined maybe an officer corps. But I want to run you through the ranks. There's a private soldier, there's a lance corporal, there's a corporal, there's a sergeant, there's a staff sergeant, there's a WO2 and WO1, right? And then you come to the officer corps, you can have master warrant officers, all of those ones in there. And then you come to the officer corps, you have a lieutenant, a captain, a major. You can count more than 12 maybe 13 ranks. How do you call such a person a novice? And do you think that the Ghana Air Force, with all the sense that they have and with all the generals and everybody there, they will pick a novice to say, our boss, who is the defense minister, fly him to a location? How do you even begin to think to say a thing like this when the family of the squadron leader are yet to come to terms with the death of their son? How do you say that? And you want to be president over who with this attitude? You cannot be president if you do not demonstrate that in people's grief and when people are at their lowest. That is when you stand up for them. When men fall, that is when you see it reveals a lot. When men fall, it reveals a lot. When a man is down. And for these two gentlemen who have been on the political landscape for a long time and ought to have known that the statements they were making were politically incorrect and that we are not on the campaign trail and that the elections will happen in 2028, I think that they owe the Ghanaian people an apology. And other people who have made disparaging comments who are within the public domain and are on the political landscape, at the appropriate time, I shall remind the public what you said when you come preaching a holier than thou attitude. I am not perfect, but I will not toil and joke with people's death and people's grief and people's pain. I will not make mockery of people when they are at their lowest. You don't do that. We are Africans, first of all. And in Africa, we honor the dead. We honor the dead. We are Africans. You should be bowing down your heads in shame, both of you. And I say this without apology. Let's go to the driver unions, please. If a driver decides to charge you the supposed 20% increment, they are supposed to reduce their fares originally by 15%. Some have refused to reduce it by 15%. But if a driver decides to charge you 20% more because they told you, or some people announced that there's going to be a 20%, please put it up, a 20% increase, don't accept it. And this is the evidence. Road transport operators, press release. Purported increment in public transport fares. Road transport operators on Wednesday, August 6, 2025, met with the Ministry of Transport to consider the purported 20% increment in public transport fares. Transport operators following the meeting have agreed to suspend the purported 20% increment in public transport fares as a result of the lack of broader consultations on the decision. Transport operators have therefore agreed to maintain the implementation of the 15% reduction in public transport fares, which took effect on 24th of May 2025. All transport operators are to ensure that the 15% reduction is enforced. We count on the cooperation of all transport operators and the general public. Emmanuel Ni Ankra is the National Vice Chairman of the Ghana Private Road Transport Union, GPRT of TUC. He signed this on the 6th of August 2025. Emmanuel Ohene Yeboah, General Secretary, Ghana Road Transport Coordinating Council, GRTCC, signed this also on the 6th of August 2025 after they had met with the minister. And guess what? Both of them have the first names Emmanuel. Emmanuel means God, it's with us. So they are with us. So don't allow anybody to cheat as if the unions are with us. This is signed for and on behalf of road transport operators. Distribution to the Ministry of Transport, Ministry of Information, Ministry of Energy, National Petroleum Authority, all press houses, and all regional coordinating directors. So you know now, don't pay 20% more. In fact, demand a 15% reduction. Don't pay 20% more. Now, I've seen a growing trend of drivers misbehaving on the road and disrespecting our MTTD officers. And so I want us to pay attention to it and find those drivers and deal with them to serve as a deterrent. Let's start from the motorway where the driver literally knocked the policeman on the motorcycle down. Play that video for me, please.
Academic sector. I received the news when I was in the conference. I was so devastated.
The owner of this vehicle, the driver of this vehicle, with registration number GT774422. GT774422. Play the video again. Look at how he knocked out that. This is on the motorway near Toyota, right? Just play that video.
Academic sector. I received the news when I was in the conference. I was so devastated. I abandoned all the things I was doing in the conference and came down. Can only say that we pray for Allah to accept.
And Henry, thank you very much. So, Police MTTD, good morning to you. You have to find this gentleman and deal with him. DVLA, you have the car number. Block it. Block his license. We must not begin to misbehave publicly. This is another one. Vehicle with a certain car number. I'll give you the car number in a bit. Police stops you. He doesn't want to stop. And the police is hanging on the bonnet of the vehicle. Replay it as many times as you can, please. Replay it. And we misbehave in this country to the point where we endanger the lives of the people we expect to protect us. How this is allowed to happen, I don't know, and I don't want. His car number is GW 233213. GW 233213. GW 233213. Policeman stopped you, and I'm sure he refused to stop. You can see the policeman hanging on the bonnet of the vehicle because he is determined to ensure. And you see, again, while we talk about the left hand, let's talk about the right hand. We were told in this country that we were going to get body cameras for the police. You remember that? If you go to the UK, the US, anywhere else, there are body cameras. Auntie Adole Mole, good morning to you and thank you. There are body cameras. If this policeman had a body camera, all he needed to do was to stand there. It would take a video or photo of the guy's face, and they will run a facial recognition, and that's it. He didn't have to get onto the bonnet because I'm sure he looked around. He didn't see any of the street cameras, so he had to enforce. Look, Sixes, find me that video again. Play. Let's celebrate him. And I'll celebrate him like I've celebrated Olivia Lagu, who was stands at Afrikiko to direct traffic. So professional, Olivia Lagu. Great lady. But this has to be stopped. All of this nonsense has to stop. And it must stop now. The Ghana police, the DVLA must act. Please give me the card numbers again. GT 774422. GT 774422. Henry, thank you. GT 774422. And GW 233213. GW 233213. Just like the guy who says when he cocks and holds, he will fire a policeman and they picked him up. Please pick them up too. We must learn to respect law and order. COP Donko Esquire, the Queen of Kings, good morning to you. I end my sermon. Please call me 055-924-2717 and 055-691-0154. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, right.